Power to survivors. Oh my God, you guys.
She owes us.
Do I now? God, you guys, this has been, what is happening? I thought I was just gonna be chilling at home today, eating a poke bowl, which I did. I did eat a poke bowl, but I thought that was gonna be my day. And then I end up getting a notification. Is it obscure Nick? Am I right about that? Hopefully I'm saying that right. I got a notification and I opened it. And boy, oh boy, it like never ends. But at the same time, this is good in the sense where I feel like this documentary, you know, all of these individuals coming forward, you know, is making change and people are feeling supported to come forward with their own stories. And this is what it's all about, right? This is why we do it. That is why we end up sharing our stories, you know, to hopefully change the world, obviously, and also to support anyone else who, you know, hasn't felt any type of support about their own personal stories. So this is, you guys, and also, so I'm like, and yesterday I was on CNN, which was wild. It was so wild. I've never been asked to be on the news before. And that was so just a wild experience, like just wild, you know, to go from, you know, not even that many weeks ago, I was kind of like, is anyone, you know, are people listening to what I've been doing for the last few years? And then all of a sudden I found out the doc was coming out and I was like, oh, and then all of a sudden everything just started to happen. And I'm still kind of catching up to it all. I'm really starting to catch up to it all. But how is everyone else feeling? I know that there are so many people out there, obviously, that have been watching Nickelodeon since they were obviously children. And there's a lot to process there. A lot. I mean, to be honest with you, this literally affected our entire generation. And over here. And many different generations. Sorry, I'm like, am I center? I'm never center. Even if I go over here, I go over here. I'm right at the tape. I'm center. What was I saying? But this has been wild, okay? I didn't even know if the doc was gonna come out. There we go. Can everyone hear me? I didn't even know this doc was gonna come out, to be quite honest with you. And so when I found out the doc was coming out, you know, that was already something to process. And then it all started to happen so quickly. And within weeks, you know, the whole world was honestly catching on to what was about to drop when it came to the documentary. And then, you know, we found out that Drake Bell obviously was, you know, a survivor, and that was a whole thing, and then processing that whole thing, and then learning, you know, Brian Peck, and then, you know, this. Thank you for listening. So I just want to start this by telling everyone, you know, thank you so much for listening. And this is really powerful. This is really powerful. I was driving here today and I was like, wow, if someone came to me, you know, when I was 13, 14, 15 and told me, you know, in the future, you know, the whole world's gonna know the story, the truth about Nickelodeon. And, you know, your story is gonna be, what happened to you is gonna be validated, and the world is gonna be listening, and it's gonna be on television. And, you know, like I'd be like, what are you on? What are you on? Oh my God, Pets, thank you so much for gifting memberships. And also I want to say thank you to all the new members and members that have been here since the beginning. I see Becca's in here. There's been so many members that have really helped build this. And I do want to remind everyone here that it is community built. We have no corporate sponsors whatsoever. Corporations do not like me per se, and I wonder why. So this is community built 100%. And so you make this sustainable. And I chose to dedicate my life to this work ever since I first protested in the streets. What was it, July 13th, 2022? And started doing protests every single Thursday. And so, you know, it's grown into so many different things now. And so I dedicated myself to this, and it's really hard to keep this sustainable. So I really, really, really appreciate all of you helping build this. It really means a lot to me, and I hope it means a lot to everyone else in the community, because we're doing this together. And that's what's so wonderful about this work, is that we're doing it together. You know, we need community. We can't do this alone. We can't do this alone. It's so hard to do this alone. And so doing this together is magical. This person named Allison actually told me something that it really rings true to me, that survivors are magic. And when they said that, I was like, magic? I never really thought of it like that. But I think that is very true, because we have learned so much, sadly. And when we choose to share our stories to the world in hopes of changing the world, there is something magical about that. And what I've been witnessing lately feels like that. And I'm like, wake me up from the dream. Wake me up from the dream. Welcome to all the new members. Has anyone from Nickelodeon, past co-stars, etc., reached out to you since the show aired? Wishing you the best. You were a big part of my childhood. Thank you so much, M. You know, no. No one's reached out to me other than, well, I reached out to Giovanni, and Leon I already knew, because Leon actually reached out to me when I first protested Nickelodeon. What was that, almost a year and a half ago? Crazy. I'm getting old, you guys. A year and a half ago. And so no. And you have to remember, when was it? Becca was here since the beginning. Becca, when was it that we were reading Matthew Underwood's letter? Oh, no. I mean, maybe I reached out to Sean Flynn, actually. I'm always the one. But I think I reached out to Sean Flynn when the news dropped that the documentary was releasing. And, you know, he was very supportive, by the way, which was very nice. Rose, welcome to the Munchies. Ronnie, welcome to the Munchies. He was very supportive, and he sent me a lovely message. And he told me that he has been supporting all of the work that I've been doing this long. And it was a very sweet exchange between him and I. You know, but it is always sad, though, when you're the one obviously reaching out. It's kind of like, okay, when I remember that, I'm like, ah. But I'm glad that he responded so kindly. And though I wish that, you know, these individuals would say something publicly. And it's a balance, right? Because I do understand that so many Nickelodeon stars, right, are still processing everything. And just to go back in time a little bit, when it came to Drake Bell and these letters that were so disheartening on so many levels, and honestly disturbing, a lot that was mentioned within those letters was about these individuals saying, my experience with Brian Peck was this. He is so wonderful. He has always been so professional. He has been around my kids. I slept with him in a hotel and nothing happened, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I think that's still happening. What I find really interesting about what's happening now is that it's almost mirrored. You know how mirrors, like, it's flipped, though? It's mirrored, but it's different. And I think that a lot of people are processing their dynamics with someone and then learning about how this person has treated others. And it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. It's definitely a lot. Aaliyah, Nickelodeon not only failed to protect its child stars, but also its child fans, as we are now grappling with the coast of what our favorite shows produce. Truly despicable. Yes, it is. And thank you for supporting. It is really despicable, and it's really hard to process. And that's why what Dan Schneider did and what Nickelodeon did here wasn't just us. It was everyone. It was everyone. Everyone was affected by this, because we were all children watching, you know, this content that was deeply disturbing. And not only were the people in front of the camera affected, but also those kids behind the TV screens, right? In front of the TV screens. Everyone was affected. And, you know, everyone's processing at the same time and differently. And I have seen a few Nickelodeon stars come forward, and I did watch the Neds Declassified. Well, no, I didn't finish it. I did watch it though. And to be honest, let's get into that for a second. On Tuesday, we'll watch it together. So I decided on Tuesday. Oh yeah, I can. Am I? Where do I go again? It's enabled, yeah. Okay, so I decided like on Tuesday, we'll watch it together. And I might not even finish it until we all watch it together. And just off the bat, right? Off the bat, because I've been getting so many messages about it. Again, with the mirror situation, right? With the letters and people having to process how someone was with them, how someone was acting around them versus how they were acting around others, and processing that. I felt like the beginning of the Neds Declassified podcast was very similar to how those that have responded about their letters that they wrote in defense of Brian Peck, you know, if I had all the details, like you had enough details, by the way, right? You had enough details. You knew that Brian Peck admitted to a lot of what he did. You knew it was a child and that he was an adult and that it was bad and that it was, you know, criminal, right? That you knew. And then they go, but if I knew all the details. Now, when I listened to the Neds Declassified podcast, it was very much centered around, we just watched Quiet on Set and oh my God. And you're like, yes, okay. But at the same time, if I remember correctly, when Devin and all of them were live on their TikTok and they made that horrific comment, he followed it up with talking about Drake Bell and what happened to Drake Bell. And so that means he was already aware, because let's face it. I mean, didn't we all know what happened to Drake Bell, sadly, way before Quiet on Set released? And even before Drake Bell's episode was released? Yes. It was everywhere. I mean, you couldn't even avoid it, to be quite honest with you. It was pretty much everywhere. And so Devin did go right into Drake Bell and go, oh, we should not be joking about this. And then went into, I forgot how he phrased it, but it was so awful, in my opinion. It was like this Drake Bell shit, yeah, I think it was like Drake Bell shit, wasn't it? It was Drake Bell shit. That's how he phrased it. And he was more blown away by the fact that nobody knew, or that didn't come out earlier. And so for me personally, as a survivor, and I'm sure so many survivors out there can relate, we don't want to hear the excuse, okay? And also, don't insult my intelligence, okay? Don't insult it. I don't like when the intelligence gets insulted. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like someone is acknowledging that you have listened to what they said, and it's kind of gaslighty a little bit. And so when I was hearing Devin Werkheiser say that we just watched it, and if I watched it before, I would have never, and we just happened to be in this TikTok live during the time of Quiet on Set Drake Bell episode, saying this without acknowledging the fact that he did follow it up with Drake Bell and his story. So I don't give him grace there. And at the same time, I did enjoy listening to them for the few minutes I did, understand how awful it was for us. The ones who have sat down in the chairs telling the world our stories. And I do appreciate that. And I think I was laughing about this, honestly, the other day, where survivors are always put into these situations where we have to be grateful for every little bit. Even when we're first mistreated and then someone changes their mind, you know, to heal, you have to accept certain things. And it's hard. It's a hard balance to do. And I think actually it goes beyond survivors. I think human beings, we all deal with that in general, where, you know, someone hurts us and then we see them do something and a little bit better, and then we want human connection. We want people to be better. And so sometimes we pick ourselves up because we are optimistic and idealistic about, and not even idealistic, I think sometimes realistic, that people can be better. So it was a mixed feeling. I went into the episode not really liking the whole, if we had the details, if we watched the documentary.
Don't insult my intelligence, Derek.
Yeah, don't insult my intelligence, Derek. Don't insult my intelligence. It's like, don't do that. I really do believe that there was kind of a similar energy between the Boy Meets World people and the Neds Declassified podcast. There was just some kind of crossover there. And though at the same time, I did appreciate them saying they're sorry, but not privately again. So I hope for them to all individually say sorry. Because in the beginning of the episode, Devin Werkheiser says that, you know, he it supports all of the, I forgot how he put it, but every single person in the doc, right? All the victims. And if you remember, you know, for example, you know, Lindsay Shaw, when that whole thing happened and she hearted a comment saying that I was crazy and psycho, and I asked privately for an apology, Chrissy Carlson Romano responded to me and said that Lindsay is not going to give me an apology. Oh, well, you know, it happens. It happens. So that was very fast. But I think at the same time, again, this is public pressure. This is getting serious. Times are literally changing. Everyone is starting to get real serious about this. I mean, that video of them on TikTok doing the thing, doing the horrible thing, honestly, was like 26 million views or something last time I checked on Twitter. And so the public pressure was immense. And it had Devin kind of immediately publicly apologize to Drake Bell. So, you know, sometimes you wish people were better before all of that. And then at the same time, you have to accept the reality of things, right? 1 foot in your optimism and 1 foot into reality. And it is this balancing act, and it is a dance. And so that's kind of where I feel right now. I'm a little bit dancing when it comes to the Neds Declassified recent podcast. But on Tuesday, we'll watch it together. And maybe I'll have different feelings even when we watch it together. But that's how I'm feeling off the bat. And so I hope that's understandable. And I hope one day they actually privately apologize. Okay, so there's a lot going on today. Where do we begin? First of all, I see a lot of new members. And again, I want to say thank you. Thank you. So back to Twitter. Twitter is, it's a love-hate. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Hold on one moment. Quiet's gonna adjust my mic. I'm back. Whew, it is hot in the studio today. I was like, oh, I'll wear like, you know, a fall-ish, spring-ish dress. And now I wish I was like in a full like summer dress, to be quite honest with you. Okay. So back to Twitter. Twitter I have like a love-hate relationship with. You know, it's full of so many trolls, but then there's also so many good people on there too. And it's like a mixed bag. But anyways, so I got a notification from, let's actually just pull up my screen really quickly so we can give a shout out to where I found it. It was Obscure Nick. Oh, God, and his face, so trigger warning when it comes to this horrible man's face. Not Michael BOWER, obviously, Brian Peck. this guy just freaks me out off the bat. You're like, what is that photo even? That's like a casual photo, and that's what he looks like casually. So anyways, my phone, I get the notification. It says Michael BOWER from Nickelodeon's Salute Your Shorts, which, you know, that's also kind of strange. No, aren't all these Nickelodeon Salute Your Short? Why is it always weird? I want something to just be somewhat like That's So Raven or something, like Even Stevens, you know, where you're like, okay, that's a name it doesn't make you feel weird about it. But then you hear Salute Your Shorts. You know, what does that even mean? So Salute Your Shorts speaks out on his experience from a Nickelodeon executive in the 90s, an executive who invited him to a hotel and Brian Peck wanting him to be blank in a film and trying to watch him blank when he was a teen. And this was something, you know, I said this on CNN yesterday. I can't believe I said that sentence. On the Boomer News. Hell yeah. I said, you know, for me as a survivor, one of the biggest takeaways for me after watching the documentary was realizing I wasn't the only one. Not only was it heartbreaking and so sad to hear everyone's story, it was also validating. And I think that survivors do keep in a lot of what happened to them because they think they're the only one. And so when you finally hear you're not the only one and there are similar stories, it's, I don't know, I guess it's only an experience that those who have experienced know what I'm talking about, right? So with this, I was always wondering, like, I wonder who else Brian Peck has done something to. Because there's no way, I don't necessarily believe that Drake Bell was the only person. Because usually with, you know, predators, they're constantly preying, you know. It wasn't their first time usually. It's a pattern. And so we have a couple things today, by the way. I have a couple questions that we're going to get into about the execs, like the current president, Brian Robbins of Nickelodeon. I got some things to say about that because they're really trying to get out of the whole we didn't know. Now, you have to remember, Nickelodeon. Hi again. Hi again. It's me. You're trying to say like, oh, I didn't know it was Drake Bell and like we didn't know this and we didn't know that. Well, positive. Remember Brian Robbins, who's the current president? Yeah, he was there around the same time, right? And if everyone remembers, Drake's dad said that he went up to people at Nickelodeon and told them about his concerns about how Brian Peck was interacting with his son. And we all know what their response was. Gaslighting the dad. Horrible. But I'm gonna make a wild guess here and, you know, say that one of those people that said that to Drake Bell's dad was Brian Robbins. And he now is the president of Nickelodeon. Weird, right? So that's also one of the reasons why when I was in front of Nickelodeon protesting, I said that Brian Robbins, you're fired. Because I really think it needs to be effective immediately. You know what I mean? Because he was around there and, you know, I just had this deep, weird feeling, intuition that it was Brian Robbins that Drake Bell's dad went to. And what's her name? Kieran. The other person I slimed, remember we learned about what a vice president role is and how she is involved in human resources. I'm pretty positive it was her too. You know what I mean? I don't know, I'm psychic today. It's so weird. I'm super, super psychic today. And so Kieran's not there anymore. I think that's her name. She's no longer there. But Brian Robbins is. And so when Nickelodeon talks about we didn't know and this was the past, you brought the past into present day with Brian Robbins. So who said that? Because you have to remember, Brian Robbins is the president. So whoever said that statement is like kind of technically Brian Robbins. So it's really weird for him to say publicly that he had no idea until Drake Bell revealed yada, yada, yada. When I don't believe you. Super psychic today. Super psychic. You know those mediums on like YouTube? There was like one medium I saw that was going around about P. Diddy. And I guess like she was like saying like shit that actually ended up happening. It was wild about, you know, Cassie and, you know, the whole thing. I'm feeling like her today. No. But I'm serious. I'm like 99.9, 100% serious and positive that it was Brian Robbins who Drake Bell's, you know, dad went to. And so this is a very serious issue because Dan Schneider, there will be so... Oh, yeah, just hold on. Let me pull up my... let me get to it. I can show you who these people are so that everyone knows who I am talking about. All right. Instagram's so small on here. I hate it. Here we go. We can show my screen. Even on this, you want to share my screen? And I'll just figure out how. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I posted these, by the way, on my Instagram. And I just want everyone to know that's watching, if you want to virtually protest, that if you obviously were not able to show up to the protest on the 19th, please share these on your Instagram stories and tag Nickelodeon and say you're virtually protesting alongside all of the child stars. So that's one thing. But let's move on here. All right, we got Dan Schneider, we got Brian Peck. This is Brian Robbins. And Brian Robbins is the person who created all that. And it was his production company. It was his production company that I guess essentially hired Brian Peck, right? Or, you know, it was underneath Brian Robbins. And so this guy has gone up and up and up and up in Nickelodeon. He's even the head of Paramount now. And I'm pretty sure that heartbreaking story where you hear Drake Bell's dad crying about him trying to look out for his son. And it seems like Nickelodeon was not looking out. So this is Kieran Fisher. This is Kieran Fisher. I wonder if she has an Instagram. If she does, let me know. This is Kieran Fisher, and, you know, this was the VP. This is somebody who is connected to human resources and really supposed to make sure that the kids are safe. And so let's say hypothetically, you know, Drake Bell's dad goes to Kieran. Her job would be to make sure that this becomes a human resources issue and complaint and that they handle it right away. Not gaslight the dad into, you know, basically what Drake Bell's dad ended up sharing with us all. That was beyond heartbreaking. Just beyond heartbreaking. Yeah, it is another Brian. The devil works hard, but Alexa works harder. Wait, that was an amazing... I appreciate that. Palos. That was an amazing super chat. I love that. I'm going to keep that as a snapshot. That was pretty good. That was inspiring. And it's kind of true. I don't think
my enemies are after me.
My enemies are after me. Wait, I missed someone. Nightly Solace. Power to survivors is having the power of voice. Thank you for being the voice, Alexa. Other survivors and outspoken allies for so long. We hear you and speak with you. This should never have happened, but change starts here. Thank you so much, Nightly Solace. And yes, it does start here, and we're doing it together. How cool is this? You know, when I first protested, like 2 years ago now. Sorry, 2 years ago. We started with 4 people, 3 survivors, and it was powerful then. And now seeing what it is now, this is awesome. Let's keep at it because this is going to change the world. Future possible victims, we can prevent together. we can do it together. I really do believe that. So Kieran Fisher, Brian Robbins, all right? So the reason why I say that is because now that Michael BOWER has come forward about his experience at Nickelodeon with this Nickelodeon executive, it all kind of ties into past becoming present day. And let's not forget the people in the past who made it to present day Nickelodeon, because that I believe that if anyone was not protecting the children then, is not necessarily trustworthy now, right? And especially if they're not going to apologize. Especially if they're not going to apologize. So back to this Twitter post. We're going to watch today Michael BOWER speak on his YouTube channel bravely and tell his story. And so let's watch it together. We're going to first go over him talking about the executive at Nickelodeon, and then we'll go into him talking about Brian Peck. And strangely enough, he ends up connecting with Brian Peck, not at Nickelodeon, but doing some horror film. And so it's just, Brian Peck was like everywhere. I mean, this guy was so connected. Remember, he's even connected to Bryan Singer. I don't even think Brian Peck was in X-Men, but he was in the commentary for the X-Men movies. Why? And we all know who Bryan Singer is, right? And if you don't, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning, and obviously trigger warning going into this episode, because we are going to be talking about some things that, you know, can be extremely triggering. So please take care of yourself during this episode. If you need to step away at any time, please take care of you. Make sure you are most important. And we will begin watching brave Mike BOWER. Sting, if Brian Peck had so many supporters in the courtroom, surely one of them told Nick execs. And let's not forget that Dan Schneider called Drake and said, "Was it you?" Where do you think that comes from? I mean, so it's because it was known. And also, we learned in the documentary that Drake Bell's father went to Nickelodeon telling them his concerns about Brian Peck. So when this whole thing, you get what I'm saying. You all get what I'm saying? Again, don't insult our intelligence. We are smarter than this, right? I really don't like when people do that, when they insult our intelligence. I don't like gaslighty behavior. All right, so I want to give a shout out to his YouTube channel though first. It's Hey BOWER. So we're going to be watching and commenting, doing commentary. Is everything okay? Quiet?
Yes, everything is okay. Miko just sent me some info that he said you would want. X-Men was in 2000.
Uh-huh.
Brian Peck has hot dog stand patron IMDb.
Wait, what?
I think he has like a credit on IMDb for being in X-Men.
Oh, that's weird. I thought it was only the commentary.
Hot dog stand patron.
Oh, okay, whatever. But he still was doing the commentary, and he had a small role in X-Men. Why were they giving him the commentary? And also, this is something I do want to also talk about. There is a Predator club in Hollywood, and they are all intertwined. I know people are going to be like, "Oh, Alexa's so wacky." People thought I was wacky a couple years ago, right? And look what happens. The doc. Now this. There is a Predator club in Hollywood, and they do protect one another. They do. And it even goes all the way up to media, television, record labels, studios. And it's not Pizzagate, okay? I know for those that probably watch those videos, I'm so sorry. It's not fantastical like that. It's
Pizzagate.
There we go. We finally got to use it.
Pizzagate.
It's so good. Pizzagate. It's not as fantastical as that. It is real. It is people's experience and life. And I have witnessed it firsthand in both industries. I have witnessed it in the film and television, and I have witnessed it in the music industry. And I have now become close with so many survivors that found out the same thing. And so this is a very serious issue. This is why I say if we focus on Dan Schneider too much, like we need to focus on Dan Schneider. Dan Schneider is done. We're done. Bye-bye. And though we need to really focus on Nickelodeon because predators can be a revolving door. They can be a revolving door. When one predator leaves, another one comes through, right? And so we need to make sure that when that other predator comes through, that the institution is not protecting him. And that we also clean up shop all the way at the top. Because if the same asshole, like basically is like, you know, in charge up there, you know, that was protecting the last one, what do you mean? What do you think? You think it's going to change? No. They just make these lawyer statements to save their own asses, basically. It's not going to change. So that's why we got to change it from top, bottom, bottom, top. It really is that. And it's institutional failure and corruption. And so before going into this, let's, I just want to say I give support to BOWER, and you are supported. If you ever want to reach out, by the way, I'm here. And check out Hey BOWER's YouTube channel for more. I'm sure he's going to be posting more. And let's get into this. Let's digest Michael BOWER's brave story. Oh, wait, before we go into that, does anyone know what Salute Your Shorts is? Here it is. So I guess it was 1991 to 1992. So you have to remember that was the air date. So they were most likely filming it in 1990. It was a TV show on Nickelodeon. I honestly never watched it, but Quiet said that he has.
This is now like my era. Like
okay.
All the shows that the doc was talking about,
yeah.
I watched all that, like maybe the first few seasons I maybe saw it like when it was on, but also the times were different then. Like, you know, it wasn't like anything was streaming. You just catch stuff when it was on. So
right.
It was like,
and then you change the channel if it's a commercial. Like
right,
you're like, get me out of the commercials, and you're just like going back and forth through different channels. Disney, Nickelodeon, Disney, Cartoon Network.
And Pete and Pete was the other one that I watched. It was like, those two, the shorts one and Pete and Pete.
Okay, so Quiet's familiar. Was it really?
Pete and Pete was so weird.
Well, we'll do a deep dive on that one day. So, I feel like everything on Nickelodeon is so freaking weird. Is it not? Okay. So, here is Michael BOWER. So, I guess he was a series regular. He was a lead. And so, I want to play... Where is it? I thought I pulled it up. I think it's here. Okay, let's watch the beginning of the Salute Your Shorts intro.
We run, we jump, we swim and play. We row and
Whoa.
go on trips. But the
It's kind of amazing.
last forever are our dear friendships.
Can't wanna.
We hold you in our hearts.
Oh, this is a...
Think about
There
you.
he is!
It makes me wanna fart.
It's I hope we never part. Now get it right or pay the price.
Wait, this guy, the guy with the sunscreen, this is unreal. And the mullet happening right now, this is so like 90s. This is unreal.
I completely forgot about this show until you just brought it up right before we went live.
It's wild.
And you brought it up, and I remembered this theme song. I don't remember the words, but it was like, yeah, it was.
That's hilarious. Well, because music is so, when you're a child, just gets deeply imprinted.
Now we will share a lifetime of the fondest memories by the lake of Ottawa.
It's kind of a great beginning.
Pine trees.
Camp on. We hold you in our hearts.
Oh, this is really rogue. This is like literally like live.
The thing came apart.
We gotta wanna speak, gotta wanna live, wanna.
Wow. Okay, round of applause for those kids. I hope that they were treated all right. No, because now we're going to learn what Michael had to say about his experience at Nickelodeon with a Nickelodeon exec, and we're gonna do a deep dive on it in the sense where we're gonna ask Chat GPT about a few things and figure out maybe who he was talking about this Nickelodeon exec. So let's first watch a bit of his YouTube, and then we'll start digging. Here we go. Wait, captions are on. Okay.
They need to do better. We all love the thought of Nickelodeon, but the business behind it, at least for the 90s and the 2000s, they were mismanaging a lot of things. You can blame Nickelodeon, but you got to blame the people that worked for them and did the hiring.
Yes. Like Brian Robbins. Sorry, like that's why it goes back to Brian Robbins, right? Past, now present day.
To those people. And the reason I bring up the people that were working for Nickelodeon is because I was on a Nickelodeon show in the 90s, in the early days of Nickelodeon, before all of these mid-90s where all these bigger shows got bigger and better. We were at the forefront of my show called Salute Your Shorts. And I do remember when we did the first 6 episodes of our show, we had some Nickelodeon executives show up. They were in charge of development and products and, you know, getting shows started through Nickelodeon. You know, they would oversee our show.
Right.
But since we were not in New York or whatever, they had to travel out to LA. And I'm not going to give any names because these people, or this one person in particular, is not alleged to have any misbehavior. But after watching this documentary, learning about the procedures at Nickelodeon with all of these hirings, it made me rethink a lot of these stories and this person that I dealt with. And again, I'm not going to give any names because, in my opinion, at least with me, nothing happened. But it was scary moments, and this person possibly, I don't know if it's fact or not, brought in Dan Schneider into Nickelodeon.
Hold up. Remember in another episode, for those who have been tuning in since maybe the beginning, remember when I was like, who is...
Pizzagate.
What did it say?
Pizzagate.
Yeah. Pizzagate. Here I go into my Pizzagate. No. But remember when I said, who is Brian Robbins? Who is Dan Schneider? Who is Brian Peck? Who is John Vaccaro? Who are these people? Why are they so connected? And look at this footage. And you have to remember, John Vaccaro was the director for the content for website building for Nickelodeon. And you can recognize John Vaccaro's shitty website design anywhere. I mean, from the 90s to now, it really hasn't changed, have you, John Vaccaro? Which is like, why were you so in with everybody? You really like, you have quite a LinkedIn, you know, and you're like, how are all these people so connected? What is the through line? I don't know. I'm not saying anything. But it's a strange through line when actually when I was watching the Neds Declassified podcast, a little bit, didn't watch the whole thing, but a little bit, Daniel said an interesting point. And he said, you know, regardless, all of this predatory behavior was happening on Dan Schneider's shows. And it's undeniable. That is a fact. And that was what was happening. Dan Schneider was a through line and Brian Robbins, a little bit, you know, when it came to what it wasn't happening at Neds Declassified, apparently. They don't have those same stories. You know, the other sets, but specifically when it came to Dan Schneider shows or Brian Robbins or things that maybe John Vaccaro was working on, you know, this behavior is rampant, you know? And it always makes me wonder, you know, why are they so connected? Why are they still friends? Like, for example, it says that John Vaccaro left in 2000 from Nickelodeon as shitty website designer. But then he makes Dan Schneider's website, you know, and he makes Dan Schneider's wife's website. And it's just very peculiar. So when he says this person's the one who brought Dan Schneider in, I've been wondering who it is. Who? Dan Schneider universe. Oh, God, a universe you just eject. You just do not want to ever visit Dan Schneider's universe. But really, who brought him in? You know, it's one of those peculiar things. So let's continue. So I really want to find out who this is. And we might today.
Or he might have been a part of the hiring or bringing him shows, because this person was in charge of development and production. Whoops.
Development and production.
So
then we know this. So let's start keeping notes, right? Everyone bring out their notepad. So he said production and development during the time of Salute Your Shorts. So that'd be like what, 1990, 1991. So we can do some investigation together and maybe see who that person is maybe that he's talking about.
this person came down to develop our show, and he became friendly with the cast.
Always does. Always
And
does.
he seemed like a fun guy and all that. And all speculation aside, in my opinion, I felt he was G-A-Y.
Okay.
Even back then, I had my DAR, my G-A-Y DAR. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it bothered me. I do not care. But I had that feeling when this person was around us.
Kind of reminding me, of the Kieran and Brian Robbins. Brian, I'm sure, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Brian watches this. I know that Dan Schneider does. But I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Robbins does. Interesting, though, because that's kind of what Drake Bell's dad got gaslighted into, right? Where they said, you know, blank, that he was, can I say it even on YouTube? I'm not even sure. But you all know what Drake's dad said. And it made him, they gaslighted him into being like, whoa, is that how it's coming off? Like, that's not what it is for me at all. It's that I'm actually seeing this person behave and touch and be around my child in a way that is inappropriate. That is not okay. And my job as a parent is to protect my child. And so interesting that he's saying like he maybe knew that this person, you know, was queer by the fact that maybe the person was acting around them, right? So just very interesting. It kind of just, you know, reminded me of the same thing here.
And I would hang out with a good friend of mine a lot in these days, and I would spend nights at my friend's house. We would play video games. We'd hang out on set. We were bonding as like best friends. And this individual that showed up bonded with us as well. Maybe he thought because I would hang out with this best friend of mine that I was also G-A-Y. Again, I don't know why, but this gentleman wanted to bond with us much more. He wanted to be a part of our friendship. So, he asked us to go to Universal Studios with him. He asked us to go watch movies with him while he was overseeing the production. And
what?
We did.
Oh,
we did.
No.
It seemed like fun. He also brought me swag from Nickelodeon and Enty.
Oh, no, not the swag. Not the swag from Nickelodeon. Okay, this is a thing. Here's a thing. I have worked as a child in Hollywood for, well, when I was younger, many, many years before Zoe 101 and after Zoe 101. I have never experienced as a minor the type of predatory behavior, you know, everything, as I did while I was on Zoe 101, working for Nickelodeon. I saw some things, you know, like I will say that I saw Dan Schneider, you know, texting one of my co-stars. I did see him inviting people to his house. Okay. That's enough said. And so when you go to other sets, you realize that that's not okay behavior. That's like not acceptable behavior to be like that. When you're an adult, what adult is texting a kid? What adult wants to hang around a kid, to be quite honest, unless it's your kid? And then your kid's having a play date with some other person's kid, you know, and you're like, okay, this is like, here we're being parents, you know, or you're a babysitter and you're a good one. You're not a weirdo and a creep. You like are being a babysitter. People that want to hang out with children want something from them. I've had people, also adults, that are like not preying on me in the essay way because they knew that I was on TV shows and they were wanting to get into Hollywood. And so they would, you know, call me because they thought I could be in their script or whatever. You know, there was that. And then there's this, which is like, you don't need a job from Michael, right? You don't need a job from Michael BOWER. You are an executive. Why are you hanging out with him and wanting to bring him to Universal Studios and all of this? And swag from Nickelodeon. Be real, dude. Be weird. I mean, be weird. Be real.
He
Okay,
brought me Yo MTV t-shirts, stuff like that, because I was a big fan of Yo MTV raps at the time. And this person ingratiated themselves to me. Took us to lunches and dinners in Universal Studios. We filmed a video and we hung out during the day. We also watched movies with him. And then one day, I don't know my exact age at this moment, but I wasn't too old. I was around 16. This is like, what, 90? Late 90s, so 75, 85, 15, 16. And then one day he invited me and my friend to his hotel to watch movies, eat popcorn. He was going to buy a popcorn machine and have an ice cream maker or somebody like a sugar cone ice cream maker or bring
PDF file. You're telling kids you're gonna have like popcorn and candy? You're like the guy in the truck that like the stranger danger shit.
Yeah, that's like stereotypical.
That's like stereotypical. I'll have popcorn at my hotel if you stay over here and you can just watch movies and I'll what? Watch? Who is this? I will find out, by the way. Who are you? What the heck is this? See why when I first protested in Nickelodeon, I said Nickelodeon didn't protect me. And then obviously fast forward, it says Nickelodeon didn't protect us, obviously, after the documentary. Because Nickelodeon isn't. They say, go to the execs. Look at who the execs are. I got popcorn and candy in my room. I'm sorry, what? Where do you go? To who? To who? Just predators lurking, preying. And you have to remember that's where, you know, predators go, especially child, you know, predators, right? They're going to go and get jobs where they get access to children. That's the scary part. All right. I'm gonna dig and find out who this person is. Let's continue.
Ice cream. And we're like, yeah, let's do it.
Oh.
Because we've already had events with him in public and alone. And people will say, where was my father? Where was my father? Well, look, my father was not always around. He did have a normal job, and my father couldn't oversee everything. Plus, my dad realized I'm 16 or 15, and, you know, I'm pretty independent. And he trusts me. But so I would normally spend the weekend at my friend's house. And then this one weekend, like I said, my dad was thinking I'm at the weekend, and then we got invited to the hotel.
Oh, so this guy, so this Nickelodeon exec knew that dad wasn't around. So he's supposed to be sleeping over at his friends, and then he gets invited by a boss, essentially, to go to his hotel. Listen, Michael's not telling the story unless he feels that it was wrong, right? He knows it was wrong. He knew it was wrong then, probably. That's scary. From what I was reading a little bit on Twitter, from what he ends up expressing, you know, this is very scary. This is wild. How's the chat doing? I'm with you in spirit here. Virtually, this is wild. This is wild. Okay, let's keep watching.
Eat the popcorn, the ice cream makers, or whatever he was going to do. And we agreed. We agreed. Because we've already had adventures with him. Nothing nefarious. I don't even remember any touchy-feely stuff. I don't remember it. But I do know that he ingratiated himself with us. Then he invited us to the hotel to, you know, watch the movies and all that and spend the night.
Spend the night with an executive? As a kid? What are we listening to? What are we listening to together, by the way? This is just wild. I'm just going to check the fan funding here and see if I missed anything. Let's see here. So Cal Mitch's ex-wife has been trying to expose who the executives were at Nick during the time she saw it all happening too, but no one will listen to her. You should talk to her. Thank you for letting me know that. Oh, Drenched in Drama. Hey! Okay, thank you for telling me that. I'll text you. No sane person wants the power of the rich and famous. My heart is breaking for all of you, but my child inside is broken at the network. That was part of my childhood and horrible things. Sending hugs. Thank you so much, Purple Yoshi. What gets me are the child stars choosing to remain silent. Unfortunately, silence speaks volumes. Be an ally and stand united. I'm hoping that they end up standing and uniting with all of us. I know little Alexa is so proud of you. Oh my God, I gotta heart all these. Sarah, thank you so much. That was really sweet. I find it creating a little fishy that Brian Peck got fired from 2 children's shows and went to jail, and nothing was reported on back then. Agreed. That's what I'm saying. The media is involved too. The media is involved too. That's what I really do think. It is a predator club, and let's not get that twisted. Oh, you guys are so sweet, Gabriel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The devil works hard, but Alexa works harder. I'll never forget that one. Okay. So let's continue. This is just, are we okay? No, probably not. This is just wild. In case you missed by earlier super chat, Alexa, as much as I enjoy football, I will not watch the NFL on Nickelodeon. That is such a weird combination. Yeah, that combination alone is just, it actually kind of melted my brain a little bit, Josh. Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue. Do I want to? But I do want to hear what Brave Michael has to say.
He showed up. But we were not going to spend the night. We were not. We made it known.
Ooh. Because he was 16. Interesting.
You know, we put on a movie. I forgot what movie it was. I think it was Indiana Jones, because it was one of my favorite movies at the time. And for this gentleman.
What? I missed that.
His sound cuts out.
We were done. That's how good of a head of our shoulders we've had. And we got a talking to by my father and my friend's father and mother. And we were done. We immediately called, because I was supposed to be at his house that weekend and at my friend's house.
Wait, what happened there? Why? I mean, he it goes muted. Miko, if you're listening and you did hear something or you did catch that, let me know in Discord or something with Quiet, because he says something there that makes him done with this. This is like a very scary. This is scary.
His mother?
Alcohol came out. Oh, thank you, chat. Thank you. Alcohol came out and they were like, we are out of here. We are done. What? What?
She showed up, but that sticks in my head because we were smart enough to get out of there, but we shouldn't have even put ourselves in that situation. We should have never went. We should have put all the signs together, but we were having such a good time going to Universal Studios, Disneyland, watching movies, carnivals, while I'm filming Salute Your Shorts, and then on the weekends, watching movies with him. Something was wrong. But we were out of there. Then, when I got back on set, you know, he was there, and our relationship has changed. I would no longer talk to him or associate.
He creeped him out. You hear him? He's saying, like, obviously nothing happened, but he freaked him out. They felt it. Who brings alcohol out when you're bringing 16-year-old boys into your hotel room, baiting them to, you know, go to Universal Studios, then popcorn's in your room and Indiana Jones, his favorite movie? Are we for real? I mean, this is brooming 101. This is predatory behavior. Who are you, dude? How long did you stay at Nickelodeon, by the way? And you're somehow connected to Dan Schneider? I want to know. Doesn't everyone want to know? I think everyone wants to know. Sadly.
Him, and I basically took a step back. And then for good gracious and good fun, or good timing, that gentleman flew back probably about 4 days later, back to, you know, Nickelodeon and the studios and all that. You know, they've already overseen production.
Oh, so he's in New York.
Then we had a rap party where this person flew back into town for the first season. We had a rap party, and it just wasn't the same. But luckily, I was not fired. I was too popular. I was too well liked.
Oh my God, he's hilarious.
So I'm just saying, luckily I wasn't fired for not staying at the hotel when alcohol was brought out.
Oh my God. Can you believe it?
But that's a story of a person that I believe might have had a hand in the helping signing of Dan Schneider. And this is pre-Dan Schneider. So, nothing happened officially, but it was some weird circumstances around young children that this gentleman did. And he was hired by Nickelodeon.
Yes, Brian Robbins brought Dan Schneider in 100. But Brian Robbins wasn't around when... Wait, can we go back? Wait, we got to investigate a little bit. Did he say 1996? Because he originally says, Salute Your Shorts, which was 91 to 92. But then doesn't he say something about 96?
I think he misspoke.
He misspoke.
Yeah.
Because he was saying I was 15 or 16.
Yeah, I noticed
but it
that
was
too.
91. So the head... So was Brian Rob... Can we all do this together collectively? Let's find out who this guy is. Shall we? Or at least start, like... you know, guessing, because this is pretty important, because if that guy is still at Nickelodeon or he's working at some other company around children, we got to make sure that guy is at least known for this type of behavior. So if it was 1991, when did Brian Robbins come in to Nickelodeon? I'm pretty positive that Brian Robbins, let's see, what year? So 1994. So he was on Head of Class from 1986 to 1991.
I'm going to show this, yeah.
Yeah, you can. And then joined Nickelodeon in 1994 as the creator, lead writer of the sketch comedy All That same year. While there's a special place in hell for these blank, there's a special place in heaven reserved for walking angels like you that bring awareness. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Was it Rum Ham? M, you remember Belle and the Bulldogs controversy on Nick? No, I don't. It was creepy as F. Jonathan Butler made that show. Wait, can you give me a link or send me some more information, M? Okay, so Brian Robbins, I feel like, is out of the picture, right? Because Brian Robbins, Head of Class, 1986 and 1991. He didn't come into Nickelodeon until 1994. But what he said there was that this person was the head of production and development during the time that obviously he had to be at the show, doing the show, which was Salute Your Pants, Nickelodeon.
Shorts.
Oh, shorts. Sorry, same thing, by the way.
Sweats.
Sweats. That's what it should have been. I don't even know. Gloves? I don't know. If it was Dan Schneider's show, it would have been Salute Your Socks.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
All right. Okay, so let's look. Let's ask. Wait, hold on. Don't show my screen. We're gonna ask Chat GPT. Who was the? Let's see. Who was the head of development production at Nickelodeon in 1990 of a TV series and live action TV scripted? Okay, let's see. You can show my screen. Here we go. Future AI. What do you have? All right. In 1999, the head of development production for live action scripted television series at Nickelodeon was Herb Scannell. You guys, I know who Herb is. Herb was the president of Nickelodeon, I'm pretty positive, when Zoe 101 was on the air. And I slimed him at the first protest. Wait, you guys. You want to see the protest sign? Actually, I'm looking at the chat. Wait, it's him. Wait, Herb. Wait, do you guys think, Alexa, unsure if you saw my previous chat. I watched the Open Secret documentary. I watched it today and was shook when I saw Ben Savage enter the home. Ben Savage entered the home? What do you mean? Ben Savage from Boy Meets World? Wait. Erica, are you talking about Ben Savage from Boy Meets World? Wait. So remember the first protest I did for Nickelodeon? Maybe some of you haven't watched it. Maybe some of you have. I slimed him. Okay, let's show it. You guys, that's her. And he was also the head of Noggin. You know, Noggin, like Nickelodeon has all those different, like Nick and Night, blah, 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 blah. He has Noggin. He was like the head of Noggin. And so I made the joke, do you have a noggin? Because he was the CEO of Nickelodeon while I was at Zoe 101, so I slimed him because anyone who was overseeing Dan Schneider's behavior should be slimed. You know what I mean? But now I'm like, wait a minute. Who is this guy? Wait, I'm going back to the chat. Wait, okay. Wait, Herb. Wait, I'm waiting for the chat to catch up. Yeah, noggins for children. Oh my God, like little children. Looks like a creep. Wait, this is wild. Okay. All right. Well, wait, I kind of want to see, okay, let's look him up on Wikipedia. Wait, let's show my screen. All right, so he's the president of BBC Worldwide America. Who is this person? 67 years old, Herb, born January 11th, 1957, is an American media executive and businessman. He served as the president of Nickelodeon and TV Land from 1996 to 2006, was the founding CEO of Next New Networks, blah, 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 Irish. I'm passing all of this. Okay, president of Nickelodeon. In February 1996, he was named president of Nickelodeon and TV Land. But it's saying in 1991 that he was the head of production and development and production, whatever the hell it's called. What was it called? Let's see. Live action scripted, head of development production for live action scripted television series at Nickelodeon was Herb. He played a crucial role in the network's programming decisions and was involved in the development of various live action shows aimed at children and teenagers during that time. Herb Scannell later went on to hold other prominent positions within Nickelodeon MTV networks before pursuing other ventures in the media industry. Listen, this is what I'm talking about, though. See how they go up and up and up? They keep getting promoted, these guys? Look where Brian Robbins started. And all of these people are somehow interconnected to Dan Schneider, which I find so bizarre that they're all interconnected with Dan Schneider and they all got promoted. And not only is Brian Robbins the president of Nickelodeon, he is the president of Paramount. And then when you think about Paramount Plus, you're like, why is there so many Dan Schneider reboots? Which, by the way, I heard that Paramount is doing another reboot of Dan Schneider. I think it's like Henry Danger, one of those, a movie version, I guess. And they're currently filming, which Brian Robbins, not the time, dude. Not the time to be bringing any more reboots. And why so many reboots of Dan Schneider shows? Why? What does it say? Is there any controversy with the Nicktoons? And what's the beef with Neds Declassified? Sorry, I'm new to the controversy. There's a lot of videos between me and Neds Declassified, but also Neds Declassified recently did something when it came to Drake Bell that was absolutely hurt. Slime, herb, scan. Okay, yeah, how do I slime him, Mika? We already did. Let's slime.
Slime him.
Yeah. Everyone just put it in emotes of slime. I think there isn't. There's at least like some emoji of slime somewhere. Anyways, okay. Not saying it is him. We're just relying on AI. So herb, AI. I don't know. Might have like Scooby-Doo'd you. You know what I mean? Just might have. Okay, let's finish what he's saying here, and let's get into what he has to say about Brian Peck.
Can you copy the first sentence of that chat GPT thing and send it in Discord?
Right now? Yeah, I can. All right, let's see.
I just want to see if I can find the source of it.
Oh, yeah, true. Okay. All right, let's get into the rest of what he's saying.
But I don't want any ill will to show up to this person if the investigators want to go and find out, because nothing happened. We put ourselves in that predicament. It was wrong. And parents and people drink alcohol all the time.
Yeah.
None was offered to us. I just remember alcohol.
But not with other people's kids. Like, for example, if the other boy that he was with was Herb's son, and they were on a trip together or something, whatever, and the dad pulls out a drink and he goes into the bed, they're watching the TV, he goes into the other room and he's, whatever, reading the newspaper, drinking something. That's different. Who is pulling out alcohol with two minors? One of them was it both of them? It was both of them from the show. Both of them are kids working for your network that you could possibly have ended up becoming the president for. I feel so bad for him that he wants to make sure that we, and we know he's saying he's still processing it. But I'm very disappointed in whoever this is. Seems to me a whole bunch of red flags. Like the red flags are waving. How I Made It. Herb Scannell, who brought Dora to Nickelodeon, returns to his radio roots at KPCC.
I just like.
So that's what he looks like now. What year was this when it was published?
2019. It looks like February.
2019. Okay, so that's media industry veteran. Okay, rice and beans household. This guy grew up in the suburbs of New York, Long Island. The youngest of 4. It was very different experience than everybody else on her block. Okay, we'll get back to that. But that's what he looks like now. So we'll keep digging. We'll keep digging. If anyone finds anything, maybe spend tonight on ChatGPT. Let's find out who this person is together.
And I knew that was the end draw. Because you don't want anybody to have alcohol. And then on top of that, in a hotel room with children.
Nope.
But nothing happened. Thank goodness. But for the investigators that want to go out, I don't want no ill will toward this gentleman.
Don't worry, Michael. We just want to know who he is. You know what I mean? I think we just want to know who he is so that we possibly make sure 16-year-olds aren't in hotel rooms with him, taking out alcohol. I mean, you have to think how Michael is describing this, right? Is that they said they were done. Like they knew, their intuitive gut, like they felt it, that something was wrong. And the fact that he was like, oh, there's going to be popcorn, you know, and this and that, and Indiana Jones in there. These are all serious red flags. And him letting us know, bless him, because him letting us know he believes that this person did bring Dan Schneider. It's because he does think he's a creep, right? Whoever this person is that he's talking about, because he knows Dan Schneider is a creep. And he's like, this was right before Dan Schneider. These are the red flags waving. These are the red flags waving. Okay, let's go.
And nothing else has happened in the future with his name that I know of. So, again, nothing happened. I don't know if there was any intent. I really don't know.
But remember, Nickelodeon does have kids sign NDAs.
Maybe he was just a friendly character with young children who wanted to have alcohol and enjoy movies and popcorn. I don't know.
Nope. No. Welcome, new members. Welcome. Welcome. Chef's Kiss and Munchies. No. There's no grown man. By the way, I think it said in 2019 he is 67 years old, by the way. I don't think any grown man wants to go to Universal Studios with 16-year-old boys in a hotel room. Ew, in a hotel room too. It's like one thing if they went to Universal Studios, right? And they just like walked around and he dropped them off or something. That's already kind of weird. But in the hotel room and told them there was popcorn in there and that he was going to buy this. And then he gave them swag, Nickelodeon swag. Oh. And that he felt he knew. Was the exec VP of Nickelodeon in 1990. Okay, this is where it's all beginning. All right, thank you, Michael. Let's continue.
But again, the circumstances of inviting him to a hotel.
Yes.
It's a little shady.
A little.
But, so that's my story. And I do believe, I don't know for a fact, that they might have had a hand in hiring Dan Schneider. They were definitely in charge of, you know, some big projects at Nickelodeon around that time. So now let's talk about Dan Schneider a little bit. I met him. I was an audience member one day of a show called Head of the Clash. I went, I got a VIP to be in the audience of that show. It might have been through Nickelodeon. I don't know. I don't remember. But I remember meeting the cast of Head of the Clash. And of course, I met Dan Schneider. And this is before Nickelodeon.
But didn't you just say because of Nickelodeon? Wait, did anyone catch that? Well, I'm going to play that and go back.
So, and of course, I met Dan Schneider. And this is before Nickelodeon.
But you said here.
I got a VIP.
Got VIP?
To be in the audience of that show. It might have been through Nickelodeon. I don't know. I don't remember. But I remember meeting the
it's
cast
before.
of Head of the Clash.
Oh, but it was Dan Schneider's before Nickelodeon. I see what he was saying. So then Nickelodeon already had a connection. That's how he's linking the connection. That's why he thinks this guy has something to do with Nickelodeon, because Herb, whatever, right, was working at Nickelodeon, might have given tickets to Michael to go to Head of Class, and that's where he's making that connection. He's like, this was before Nickelodeon, so how did I get over the Head of Class? And Brian Robbins was still on Head of Class. He wasn't at Nickelodeon yet, right? You know what I mean? Am I getting it right? That's why he's like, wait, why? How did I get over there? Why? Who knew? And Brian Robbins wasn't at Nickelodeon. Oh, Drenched in Drama is saying yes. Okay, I'm catching. Okay, let's go.
And of course, I met Dan Schneider. And this is before Nickelodeon.
Okay.
But so we know the Dan Schneider situations, if you guys watched the documentary, and we know all of the allegations and the tough subjects that he did or he produced or written, or the way he dealt with the writers.
This is all us trying to figure. I have no idea, by the way. I'm listening to him. We're going to ChatGPT. And we're trying to listen to what he says. And we don't know, but I'm just saying, when I'm listening to him, right? And he's trying to figure out the connection between, allegedly. I wish I can maybe I need one other also, but beside like the stickers on the thing, maybe I need like a protest sign. That's always beside me, or maybe a t-shirt at all times. But it is allegedly. I mean, I don't know who the fuck, I don't know, but I'm interested in finding out, because if this person's still working at Nickelodeon, I would want to know, right? To make sure that there's no 16-year-old boys around this individual. What is Schneider Bakery? My mom just said. Did everyone see my mom in the... Oh, true. Right? And we listened to those end whatever credits the other day when it came to Schneider, and it was awful. Horrible. Okay. Wait, all this sort of info is on IMDb. True. All right. Let's continue.
And all that other stuff. I did not personally work ever with Dan Schneider. I have met him on multiple occasions, a couple Nickelodeon events, but that's as far as it went, because I was before him technically in our shows. So when I was doing events and all that for Nickelodeon, he was not truly in there yet. But I do remember auditioning or checking out all that on set. I do remember going to an audition for Sam and Cat, another video game show that he had with Kel, where I met him in the audition room or whatever. And I do remember watching a couple of episodes in like a Nickelodeon party, Kids' Choice Awards. I think it was like one of the first or second Kids' Choice.
Full. So that I can get there. Okay, what are the timestamps? So now we'll get into Brian Peck, which is so sad because this is all intertwined, but this next story has nothing to do with Nickelodeon. It just has to do with Brian Peck and how Brian Peck was, I guess, everywhere. Okay, so 31:17, but don't show my screen yet because I need to make sure that when am I pausing it again? It says mute the audio at 46:34. Okay. All right, let's go. Here we go into Brian Peck.
Opinion from me. Now let's talk about the Brian Peck situation. Well, I believe that this executive that I mentioned earlier in the video possibly had a hand in hiring Dan Schneider. But Dan Schneider had a hand in hiring Brian Peck. Now, if you watch the documentary, you know the name I'm speaking about.
Yes.
And we'll get into the Drake Bell stuff in a minute. But how do me and Brian Peck know each other? Well, Brian Peck wrote and directed a movie in the early 90s that I did called The Willies. Now, this is before...
It's called The Willies? Oh my God. These guys with their names and their puns and their PDF file puns. Willies. So casual too. Met Brian Peck on The Willies. My God. Okay.
With Nickelodeon and Drake and Josh. So I can only go from that standpoint and speak about my interactions with Brian Peck.
Okay.
Was the director and the writer of a movie that I ended up getting the role in called The Willies. It was a horror anthology movie based off of like Creepshow with multiple storylines, and there was multiple famous actors in it, like Sean Astin, Jeremy Miller from Growing Pains, Kirk Cameron from Growing Pains, and there was a lot of kids in this movie called The Willies. Now, thinking about everything that I've watched and witnessed and learned about Brian Peck,
Yes.
that was hired by Dan Schneider, the name of the movie called The Willies.
Yes. Thank you.
Could also be double entendre for something else. A body part, perhaps.
Yes, Michael.
And a lot of the skits in The Willies were dark, horrific, and of a less than desirable nature in my movie, The Willies.
The Willies.
Now, a lot of these attribution aspects were also in Brian Peck's future with skits like Pickle Boy and all that other stuff. So you can see where the beginnings of all of this stuff had.
Right.
I didn't know at the time when I was filming The Willies, Brian Peck was G-A-Y. I don't care. But that is part of the storyline.
Okay.
So, now looking back at all of the adventures I had with Brian Peck, the abuser of Drake Bell, the alleged accuser. Again, they admitted it in court, but I'm still going to say alleged because...
He's like, I don't want to get sued. Meanwhile, I'm here sliming him, putting PDF file under his face, right? Because he admitted to it. Brian. Oh, Brian.
No. Now, this movie, I had an audition for it at Brian Peck's house, I believe.
Auditioned at the house?
I don't remember for certain, but I do remember auditioning for Brian Peck, and I'm pretty sure it was at a house. Now, I remember going into this audition, and I do remember, after watching the documentary, I do remember seeing weird things. Like a clown or comics or something like that, like horror comics on the wall. And again, I might be confusing another event that I went to Brian Peck's house. And maybe I did the audition.
Why are you ever going to Brian Peck's house? I was like, I don't know if it was the audition or if it was another time I went to. I never went to anyone's house. You know what I mean? When I was a kid. Like, no one had me auditioning at their house. No one had me. But I saw Dan Schneider. Whatever. But other than Dan Schneider, you know, no one ever casually, as a minor, I'm trying to think, was inviting kids to their house. You know, that's a serious red flag that he already thinks that it might have been more than one time he was going to Brian Peck's house. So I find that pretty peculiar. Yeah, I feel so. Alexa, I watched the documentary the other day and I learned a whole lot of stuff that I never knew as a kid. I have and always will support you. Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you for watching too and listening to us. This is so sad, though, hearing him be like, more than once. I'm scared where the story goes.
In like a room or a hotel, not a hotel, a business, room or something like that, like a building. I apologize. I'm not exactly correct. I don't want to be lying in this video about anything. I'm just telling you from my memories. So whether it was in a house or a hotel, but I do remember I visited Brian Peck's house and I saw some interesting stuff. Because I was into the horror comic book since I was going to do the movie and stuff, whatever. Okay. But during this audition, wherever it was, I can't truly remember, I was asked a series of questions about me being naked in the movie. Because there was a scene in the movie where I had to be like naked in bed.
Hold on. Wait, by the way. Is he a minor at this point? I'm pretty positive he said this was before Nickelodeon, right? Before Brian Peck was at Nickelodeon. So he hasn't clarified here, but can someone, what year did this movie come out? Quiet. Can you look it up really quick? That Willies? The Willies? How old was Michael BOWER?
Let's see. It came out in 1990.
It came out in 1990, so that means he was like 14 years old. He was 14 years old. Allegedly. Here we go. 1990. And he said he was like 16 or whatever. This is wild. 1990. Thanks, chat. You guys are the best. So 1990. So that means he was like what? Like 14 years old? And he's being asked to, wait, who's that guy? Who is Dana Ashbrook? Why does he kind of look familiar? Wait, Doug Benson. Wait, click on Doug Benson. Wait, Doug Benson's super familiar. Who's Doug Benson, everyone? I know the chat's going to know who Doug Benson is. Let's scroll down. Doug Benson's famous. I mean, Doug Benson's super... Yeah, the Lego Batman movie. I mean, he is one of the biggest... He's a very... Go all the way down. Let me see. Oh, right there. Okay. You're the worst. How I Met Your Mother. But Lego... He's like in so many projects, this guy. Who is this guy? Now I'm kind of like, who is everyone who's working? Are they okay? Were they safe around Brian Peck? Did they write a letter defending Brian Peck? Did they see anything with Brian Peck? But that guy I definitely recognize. Yeah, Doug Benson. He's a comedian, right? Okay, he is. He's a comedian. He's a famous stoner. Okay, I mean, I kind of remember him like that too. There's the Willies. It was one of his first projects. Interesting. Okay. So 1990. So I'm guessing that Michael was around what? Like 14 years old, basically. He was on Friends. That's what I thought too. He looks so familiar. Oh God. And Brian Peck is wanting him to be naked in a bed. Where is, oh, welcome to Chef's Kiss, Princess Prozac. Incredible. Welcome to Chef's Kiss. Okay, so thank you for being here. Let's continue. I'm scared. I'm kind of procrastinating because I'm like, where is this going?
And there was going to have maggots all over my body, and I wake up from a dream with maggots all over my body, like, ah! And I was specifically asked if I had a problem being naked and having maggots all over my body. And
welcome to Hollywood. First of all, by the way, isn't it supposed to be pretend maggots? Isn't there union rules, Quiet, when it comes to that? Like, I don't think you can actually put maggots on a kid. Like, I'm pretty sure the union would not, there would have to be a non-union job. Like, you can't just be like, a kid's, NAKED and has maggots on them. Like, that doesn't seem like it's a union.
That seems too specific to be
right?
Like something the union would have in their like contract.
Right, but I don't think a kid can, first of all, a kid can't be NAKED. in any.
well, the naked part for sure.
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
No,
Then so
not
that's
okay.
already like what? Why are they asking him to be that? And then you put the maggots thing in there. It's a little bit weird. Yeah, this is
No,
pretty
it's a
strange.
lot
What does
of-
it say,
it's a
Doug
lot of it
Benson?
weird.
Did I miss something? Mika, what are you saying? What WTF too? You're saying because of the maggots? That's just pretty weird. A 14-year-old being asked to be NAKED, you know, with maggots. You know, this is kind of just strange. All right.
I said, hell yeah. then they later revealed,
Kid
it'll
knows horror
probably be
movies.
mealworms. It'll probably be mealworms. And, you know, you don't have to be naked. You could probably wear pajamas. I just remember this because it was such a weird scenario. Then when they said pajamas and mealworms, I was like, yeah, I'll do it. You know, I'll do it.
It's a
Sounds
kid.
good.
A kid.
They're like, okay. But I remember when they said naked and maggots. I was like, heck no. So I went and did
I
the
don't
audition.
think anyone wants to, adult, child, anyone, person deserves to be NAKED with maggots all over them, right? I mean, that's a little peculiar. I see a new member here. Is it MK3? MK3, welcome to the Munchies. I mean, literally no one. I mean, this is just weird. No one's overseeing this either. Like, this is like union issues. Bizarre. Bizarre. All right.
After these questions, and then I got the job. Then we had to film in San Diego. And my father was working and couldn't leave his job. And then Brian Peck offered to pick me up and take me to San Diego because we were filming like for 2 weeks there
Okay.
in San Diego. And my dad, you know, had to work every day to make money. And this job was on deferred payment, meaning they pay you at a later date.
Got it.
You know, so that was one of the issues. My dad's like, he's not getting paid any money. Like, how?
So this is so obviously not a union job. I'm guessing there's just no way you can't do deferred payment with union jobs, really. Well, I mean, technically everything's
isn't this
deferred.
his first job too.
I think it is.
Yeah, so he's definitely.
Yeah, it's
not in the
definitely his
union
first.
then.
Erica, yes, Alexa. If you rewatch an open secret on YouTube, like I did today, you'll see at 45:08 Ben Savage getting a hug and touched on his bum in the mansion of a producer. What Ben says is fishy. Noted. Thank you very much for telling me, Erica Hensley. Noted. Thank you. Okay. All right, so his first job, not a union job. Drench and Jama, open secret watch party from Alexa and Nick. You guys want to watch it together? I heard some bad things though. I can't say what, but like I heard just not so good things when it came to the team of Open Secret, and that they were like pressuring people into telling their stories and like gaslighting them if they didn't. And like telling people that they were part of the problem if they like didn't. This is what I've heard from people who were survivors when they were children, you know, child SA survivors, that the people, the team, whatever, Open Secret, allegedly, whatever, was not so nice to people that weren't wanting to tell their story on screen, which is a bummer. Go ahead. Yeah, we can talk about it. Maybe just put it into the, I'll go in the corner, so that in case I want to play it, we can. Quiet's leaving us for a second. Ben Savage, watch the Willies trailer. Oh shit. Really? Okay, we'll watch it when Quiet gets back. When Quiet gets back, we'll watch the Willies trailer. The horror movie scene is pretty weird, to be honest with you, in Hollywood. Schneider and Peck, hi Matthew. Schneider and Peck Child Actors Camp in 1999, as written about in LA Times. Also, yes, can someone put on our Reddit? Does everyone know we have a Reddit? Called Eat Predators Daily, Eat Predators Reddit. If someone can put, when I was reading the Los Angeles Times article, I wasn't able to find, I don't know if I just missed it, I was reading too quick or slow, I don't know. I have 2 kids. Can someone give me the actual snapshot of where in the LA Times it talks about Brian Peck and Dan Schneider having this camp? Because what I found that was very interesting about Dan Schneider's video, apology video with his, whatever happened there, he acts like Brian Peck is just some guy, like this Peck guy, and like, Peck this, Peck, like not acting like this was somebody he knew and was like really working with. You know what I mean? Yeah, on the Reddit, please. On the Reddit. Wait, Ben Savage was passed around. What, Ashley? Matt C., another Nickelodeon executive to look into is Albie Hecht. Several articles say he was the one who brought Dan Schneider to Nick. Thank you, Matt C. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Miko, are you seeing this? Miko, if you catch this, write down this person's name. Albie Hecht. We have to look into this person. Look up Nick Show Bella and the Bulldogs petition. Oh my God, you guys you're giving me so much content. We're going to need days on days. But you know what? Maybe what I can do you guys want to do like a members only, like for what? I guess a dinner party tearing up or something? We can do just watch Open Secret together. Because honestly, I watched it so long ago, that I remember some things, and then there's other things that I don't necessarily like remember. So put 1 in the chat if you want to do dinner party watching Open Secret, and or 2 if not. Let me know. Okay, we'll continue this. I'll wait for you guys to do the 1 and 2.
Bills, I got to stay at my job. So the offer was to be picked up and stay with Brian Peck in a hotel for the 10 days or 12 days or however long it was. My dad said no.
Okay.
My dad said no.
Wait.
Ain't gonna happen.
Wait. What did I miss there? Did he say something about what? Wait, what did he say?
Like, how are we gonna pay our bills? I gotta stay at my job. So the offer was to be picked up and stay with Brian Peck in a hotel for the 10 days or 12 days or however long it was. My dad said no.
Wait, Brian Peck wanted to stay in a hotel room with him. And you know what's interesting? Even with James Marsden, remember his open letter? Right? His open letter. Same shebang. His open letter said, remember, I stayed in hotel rooms with Brian Peck. I even lived at Brian Peck's house and nothing happened. But this seems to be a common pattern when it comes to Brian Peck, is these hotel rooms and his house. Hotel room, house. Okay, so we're going to be watching Open Secret together. I just saw all the ones in the chat. Okay, so dinner party and up. We'll stream Open Secret together and do a members only. I was supposed to do members only today, and then I ended up having to come in here to do this. But next Friday we can watch Open Secret together for dinner party and up, and I'll stream it from home. Okay, this is such a pattern of Brian Peck and so deeply disturbing, and this is why I wonder how many victims there are of Brian Peck. Schneider is rumored to be. Oh yeah, no, that's ridiculous though. That personally, I can't go there.
Nope.
I can't.
Nope. Ain't gonna happen. So I don't know what they worked out. My dad had the insight to not let me do that. My dad had the insight. Then, from the production, he forcefully made them give I think it was $2,000 or $3,000.
What?
Then my dad took off 2 weeks from work. And then we had the $3,000 that my dad would have made working to pay our bills. So, production.
Interesting.
It might have been my agent. You know what? It might have been my agent.
Might have been his agent.
I don't remember getting paid by the production. I think my agent, she was an angel, paid that money for my father. Now that I'm quickly thinking about it. Paid.
Interesting.
So we can do this movie. So my dad
Wow. So
could
the
take the
agent like upfronts the cash because probably is like, what the fuck? Like, why if he has to sleep in a hotel room with Brian Peck, the dad's not around because obviously dad has to work. And that's the thing people don't understand is some of these kids are really wanting to be in the industry. And some parents are wanting to obviously put the food on the table. And so some, this was also way before my generation because you couldn't even be on a set, under the age of 18. I kind of want to think about that too because you always needed an over 18 guardian when you were working on sets. Wait, I produce an open secret. Oh, really? Well. I produce an open secret. Happy to answer any of the bad things you said about an open secret. No one was pressured. That's not what I heard, Matthew. Really? Was there an email? I don't know. But I did hear, and this person did see, that, there was a conflict there. The survivor did not necessarily feel, the thing. But I'm not going to speak for the person on my live, but interesting that you're in here. Where'd you come from, Matthew? I say open secret, and then they just like, sorry, you just appear. But yeah, no. Were you the person do you know what I'm knowing? It's like a very awkward conversation. Do you know what I know, Matthew? And are you saying that conversation wasn't what it was or something? I'll let you keep going in the chat while we watch Michael. Thank you. Oh, wait, welcome to the Munchies. Thank you so much for being here, new members. Okay, let's see.
Off from work and travel with me. So we had the money to pay our bills for that month or for that, couple weeks at least. So my dad's like, all right, I'll go to San Diego. So they booked us a hotel. And I was next door to Brian Peck in the hotel. And then we went to San Diego, and then I went with my brother and my father and me.
Okay.
And we were all in like a one-bed hotel because the production had no damn money. So that's why I think it was my agent that loaned us the money.
Got it.
Because my agent is like, this is your first movie. You're kind of starring in this movie. It was a good stepping stone early on in my career. But
wait, I also have a question for you, Matthew. Are you still in the chat? Let me think of something. Was it Amy Berg who did Open Secret? I want to ask my husband really quickly, if my husband's still in the chat. Wasn't it Amy Berg? Which Amy Berg was it that we saw hanging out with Michael Milos? Was it the Amy Berg that did Open Secret, or was it another Amy Berg, Miko? So I just want to make sure I'm getting it right here. But if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong. Like, my brain these days is not, okay? I'm going with the motions. But I could have sworn that Amy Berg, who did Open Secret, I think, was it Amy Berg?
I see someone said Amy.
Yes,
Berg
Amy
directed
Berg.
it.
Okay. Amy Berg
Silly
was
Sam.
hanging out at my abuser's, home. Not that long ago. But I don't know if it's the same Amy Berg, so I don't want to get all wild here, wilding out right now. But that was something that was very deeply disappointing, Matthew. Are you friends with Amy still, or did you guys have a falling out, or what's the deal with Amy? But I'm gonna wait for Miko to respond to that because I'm pretty positive it was Amy Berg, that Amy Berg, but maybe it wasn't. All right, yeah, friends with Michael Milos of Rye.
This is called admitting ignorance.
Yeah, totally. It is. Gabe Hoffman, Enty Lawyer's good buddy. Wait, who? Gabe Hoffman, Enty Lawyer's good buddy. Who's Gabe? I'm missing things in the chat. Yes, it's the same Amy Berg. Thank you, Miko. So Matthew, I return. Yeah, Amy Berg, who's a part of Open Secret, is hanging out with somebody who broomed me at 16 years old. And I haven't heard good things about behind the scenes of Open Secret when it came to you reaching out to certain survivors that didn't want to be a part of it. So these are a couple questions. Just a couple questions since you came in the chat. Okay.
Know anything about the issues with Brian Peck, so don't hold that against her. So we get down there, and then Brian Peck was upset when he saw my family. He's like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna hang out with me. We were gonna able to, after we get finished filming, we would be able to read the script together, and we would be able to, develop the character, and you can practice your lines," because he was also a dialogue coach.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh,
that's how
your family."
he got in. I kind of see Brian Peck's strategy now. Do you know what I mean? Guys, I see this strategy. It's like, so he's on set with these people, and then the dialogue coach thing is what gets him offset with them. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it's in home spaces. Because let me tell you something. So I had a coach. Very interesting. I'll tell you this story, guys. So I had a coach by the name of Taylor Sheridan. He, strangely enough, ended up writing, I think, maybe and directing Scenario, that movie that won. I think it was called Scenario. It was, some people had problems with it. I know that it wasn't the most, I don't know. Anyways, whatever. The point is that Taylor Sheridan would coach me at his house. And one of the rules of being coached by Taylor Sheridan at his house was that my mom had to be there at all times. And I look back at that because I remember, because you know who didn't do that? Coach by the name of Michael Wilson. Does anyone know who Michael Wilson is? I'm not saying Michael Wilson did anything, by the way. I'm just saying Michael Wilson, you went into his guest house one-on-one. You know what I mean? Taylor Sheridan not allow that. Taylor Sheridan was like, I want the parent in the house. Like, it makes sense because you're like, I want the parent in the house. And now when I look back, I'm like, interesting. Michael Wilson, I would go in one-on-one, and then Taylor Sheridan, his demand was that my mom was in the room. So you think about these things. Like, my mom was still at Michael Wilson's place, just right outside the door. But think about these things, right? Dialogue coach, how they can get these kids, these people alone, right? Even, just kind of trippy. Did Matt go away? Matt, where are you? Where'd you go?
I have his chat thing pulled up, and he hasn't said anything since,
Yeah, I know.
So.
Matt's like, oh, shit.
He's a sub, though, so.
He's a sub?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Matt, thank you for following, but I do want some answers. Okay, let's continue. Don't get scared, Matt.
He was shocked. He was shocked. Screw him. And my dad's like, "Oh, you guys can still do that. You can still be his dialogue coach, his acting with him, but he's going to spend a lot of time with you, Michael-ish. So whatever. And I'm, we're going to be next. We're right next door to you and all that." My dad, love him.
Oh my God, him and his dad is so cute. It's so sad. He's like, my dad, thank God, my dad. Okay, all right. So sad. No, Brian, 46. What is it again? I just don't want to lose this. 46:34. Okay. Hate having to do that.
So that's what happened. So we start filming. It's a little known behind the scenes fact.
Oh, I don't think we're.
And this video is a long one.
No, you're fine.
Thank you guys for chiming in. Then, Brian Peck at the time was a dialogue coach on Growing Pains. That's why a lot of the actors from Growing Pains are in the movie.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
The Willies. And before.
And that's where Robin Thicke's dad was, right? He was on Growing Pains. Who created Growing Pains? Is there anything about Growing Pains that we need to know? Because, so Brian Peck was literally a dialogue coach on that show. After you told your story about Zoe 101 and the cast invited Herrera, but not you, I lost all respect for Zoe 101. Stay strong, Alexa, and unite. Thank you so much, Ola 547. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. It was a sad time. 46:34. Okay. Where did Matthew go?
Officially went filming on the set of the Willies. I visited the Growing Pains set on a couple of occasions because Brian Peck was trying to become friendly with me even more. I mean, he saw something in me as an actor, and he wanted to put me in his movie, and he wanted to become my friend. So we hung out a bit Then we're finally on set now in San Diego. And then now we have the maggot scene or the mealworm scene. Okay. And this event stands out to me.
Oh, no.
Now, after learning about all the allegations and everything that has transpired.
Oh, no.
This was a very scary moment for me. I mean, if the audition wasn't scary enough, now knowing what I know now.
Oh, no.
Listen to this. So now we're dressed in the pajamas. We got the mealworms scene coming up, or the maggot scene.
Uh-huh.
So I get in the bed, and they tell me, oh, they're going to pour maggots all over you. I'm wearing pajamas. They told me, oh, you're going to wear, you're going to have...
These freaks have some weird, like, like, why are you wanting to put kids in these situations? You know what I mean? Like the on-air dares, and now I'm thinking about the maggots here with horror movies, and you're just like, what is with these scenarios that you're putting children in, right? Isn't that weird? 46. Okay, 34.
Mealworms put all over you, and then you're going to wake up and scream, and you're going to see the maggots and be like, that's the scene. Well, they gave me some pajamas, and they were transparent.
Hi, Blaze. I see Blaze asking me a question. Have you always been live streaming? I've been live streaming for 8 months now, or 7. How old is my son? 7. So like 8 months, because it was a month before he was born. I started the first episode while I was pregnant with Truth. So I think 8 months. This is my 8th month streaming, way before Quiet on Set. Thank you for being here.
Well, and these pajamas felt transparent to me. Very thin and white. Very thin and white. Again, I don't know if clearly it's not as transparent as plastic or whatever, but I just felt
I know what you're talking about, like
insecure.
satin, or like, I know what you're talking about.
And I spoke up. I'm like, I don't like these pajamas. No.
Really?
No, not gonna do it, not gonna do it, not gonna do it.
Wait, that is...
And then...
Love everything about that moment. That was incredible. Can we rewind, actually? I need to hear it again.
I'm like, I don't like these pajamas. No, not gonna do it, not gonna do it, not gonna do it.
Amazing.
They were like, well, we gotta film this. We gotta go.
Okay, Amy Berg made an open secret and then distanced herself. Is this Matthew, but in his burner account? Sorry, kidding. The Chosen One. The Chosen One, thank you so much for clarifying. So Amy Berg made an open secret, and then we're going to get into open secret. He came into the chat. And it's so interesting because I'll tell you right now, I really did not hear good things about open secret behind the scenes when they were reaching out to people. I was like, where did Matthew go? He was like, I'd be happy to talk about this, blah, blah, blah. And then he just kind of like, whatever, skedaddles.
Fuck, she knows. Fuck, she knows.
Yeah, fuck, she knows. I know everything, by the way. I kind of do, though. I think that's why a lot of people just kind of stay away from me. I know too much, sadly. And somehow everyone's shit like ends up getting revealed to me.
I see him. He's here.
He's here. Wait, what?
He's saying his phone was slow, so he was probably catching up in the chat.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you're still here, Matthew. Because we need to know, was it you or was it Amy? But I know.
Oh, that was not good.
But I know. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're at 44.
Don't care. So somebody went to the local Walmart or Target or wherever and bought some pajamas
call in.
that were blue and white with little pictures. So they brought that back. But I also asked them because
Did you tell? Was it you or was it Amy Berg? I don't want to do a call in right now, to be quite honest with you, because it's like a little bit much for me. But it'll be like, we're diving into this. But I do want to know, like, did you tell a survivor? Was it you? Was it Amy? Who was it? Because I know. But I'll let you say it, because since you're a part of production, who was it? that literally told a survivor that it's them who is the problem when it comes to exposing what's happening in Hollywood. The survivors that don't come forward about it are the problem, and blah, 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 blah. And then you got an email back that was from that survivor, very upset by how that was handled, and, you know, it was a whole thing. So I don't know if it was you, Matthew, but you can call it maybe a different day also too. Like maybe when I come back in the studio on Tuesday, that's no problem. But I know that someone spoke poorly to a survivor. And I know that this survivor was told that they are the problem. Like, you need to come forward, blah, 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 blah. And this is what perpetuates the whole thing. And, you know. So it's a you know, is it you? Is it Amy? Is it a person? You know, who is it? But it was someone. It was someone. And let me know about Amy Berg. Like, why is she hanging out with somebody who broomed a 16-year-old girl who, you know, had a loss, you know, the whole thing. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Wow, it's getting like weird with Open Secret. I wasn't expecting that, but I've been wanting to ask. I was actually going to email or like I was going to be like, what happened there? Because I didn't hear something good and I really don't like that. I really did not like that. And the survivor did not feel comfortable, obviously, sitting down with you. Okay,
Gonna have these little maggots or mealworms all over me. And I was like, nah.
He is?
They can creep into
Nothing
areas
I saw.
and all that.
Okay, so you think, Matthew, do you think it maybe could be Amy?
He's saying someone who worked for Amy. You can click on his name
Somebody,
and pull up just his, his chat log.
Wait, what is it? No. Where is it?
Just
channel activity?
Yeah.
Channel activity. Okay, I see it. I'll keep it open. Okay, so never heard that before. Nothing I saw. Maybe someone who worked for Amy. Is Amy not chill, Matthew? I feel like Amy's not chill. I don't know why Amy would hang out with somebody who literally is a known, you know, for example, predator, did Open Secret, right? And then is hanging out with this person, like promoting them even on their Instagram. Like, that's so shady.
Clout.
Yeah, clout, or just performative. Like performative, the Open Secret part was performative or something. Do you like Amy Berg? That would be my next question. Like, did you like personally working for Amy Berg? Was Amy Berg somebody who you liked working with? I'm asking the hard questions right now. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to continue this while...
he just answered.
Wait, what? That fast?
He said
our relationship was fractured. Okay. Oh, Matthew, I think I kind of remember you. I talked to you in like 2019. You reached out to me when I came forward about Dan Schneider. Am I right? And you found me and I ended up on the phone with you. Amy was talented, but we had a lot of battles. Okay, yeah, okay. So maybe it was Amy. I swear, I hope it wasn't you. I mean, I know kind of who it was. And what about Gabe? Wait, who's Gabe? I'm losing everybody here. I can't keep up with the chat. Who is Gabe? Yeah, the magazine for sure, Alex G. It's getting deep with Open Secret. But who's Gabe? Drenched in Drama. What about Enty's good friend, Gabe Hoffman, who made the film with you? Oh, shit. Wait, an Enty lawyer is the guy. Remember we did an episode, he's the one who does Crazy Days and Nights. We spoke about, I read his article when it came to the allegations against him. We played a audio message or whatever that was so horrific, by the way. Gabe Hoffman. Quiet, you want to pull him up and type it in? Let's see who Gabe Hoffman is. Sorry, this is going. He financed it. Gabe also hired Amy. So who is Gabe? Have you met Gabe, Drenched in Drama? Or is he just somebody who is friends with Enty Lawyer? Like somebody who is friends with Crazy Days and Nights? I'm a lawyer.
About to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job because you are detaining me for nothing.
Gabe's about to lose his job. Amy's about to. Well, I get Amy's. I don't even know where Amy is these days. Gabe, producer of An Open Secret. Okay. Okay, got it. It's getting so I catch up tomorrow. Take care, EPs. Bye, Becca. Okay. Anyways, we'll continue this for now, and then I'll reconnect with you, Matthew, about Open Secret. Let's get through this.
So buy me long johns or something to put underneath, to have a couple layers underneath the pajamas. And they were like, oh, it's okay. We're going to be right with you and whatever. So they did it. They obliged. But I do remember Brian Peck telling me when I was putting on the pajamas and the long johns, he was like, hey, can I walk with you in the bathroom and talk to you about the scene?
In the bathroom?
And I was like, no, it's okay. Let me just go put on the pajamas and all that. I'll talk to you when I get out. He's like, well, we don't have a lot of time. Just while you're getting dressed and putting on the pajamas and the long johns, let me go in the bathroom with you at this house. We're at a little house. I'm like, no, it's fine. He's like, I got to talk to you. I got to see what you're going to do. No, it's fine. Locked it. Then I get on set and I do the scene. But now they bring out the mealworms, and
Ew.
I kid you not, there was some maggots in there.
Oh!
There were some maggots in there.
No!
And they're like, yeah, it's mostly mealworms, but there's some maggots. And I'm like, why? Oh, well, we have to film close-ups, and it has to look like maggots. It can't look like mealworms. So we have to have some. We have to pour some actual maggots here.
What?
What the fuck is this? Get it over with. Get it over with. So they pour it all over me, then we put over the covers, and then I film the scene. I wake up and scream. I wake up and scream. I wake up and scream. I react. We did it like 10 times. Now, they had to replace the film or whatever every time, or it seemed like it went on for like 30 minutes, man. Actually filming lying in the bed with maggots and mealworms all over me. Then they start laughing and saying,
Wait, I can't play this, so everyone read it. And there, don't worry, close up your what? Her joke's like, what? Oh my God. Wait, this is really gross. Yeah, I would be done too.
discomforted and
Yeah.
freaked out. And then mindless.
I can't. It's in Discord.
Mind you, not earlier in the movie, there's raisins and cookies where they actually put raisins in cookies, and they told me to try it. Try it. It's fun. It's you're the character that puts flies in cookies, not raisins in cookies. Flies. You're the character that puts dead flies in cookies. Try it. You'll like it. It's just now looking back, it was a lot of weird scenarios.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I muted it for the time. That is insane that they were talking about that going to a kid. Wait, I want to pull up the Willies trailer really quickly. Can you find the Willies trailer? I kind of want to watch it. Let's watch this. I need a palette. I need to what? Oh my. Okay. Can you go up a little bit so oh, I can't hear.
Here, wait, give me 1 second. I need to make this right. I know, where's the volume?
Wait, it's all children? Oh, that's him with the maggots. Wait, hold on. I can find it too. Maybe on, hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can get it here so I can pull it a little bit over to the Willies. Here it is. Ew. Oh no, this is the full movie. I do not want to watch the full movie. I just want to watch the HG trailer. Here we go. Is this it?
The dead of night, a backyard camping trip, 3 young boys, each with a tale.
This story is guaranteed to give you the Willies.
Strange events are happening at Greeley Elementary School.
Danny Hollister's that you?
What?
And they're happening
hold
to
on.
Danny Hollister.
Hold up. I'm lowering this first of all. Second of all, what was that image? Did anyone see the image that I saw? Or was I am. Oh, but now it's on the volume. It's so ridiculous. Stop doing that. Why would it do that? What is going on? Wait, what? Wait, sorry, who's asking me a question? Alex Cotis? Sorry if you're busy. I just have a question to ask you. What, did I see it? Or I don't think I saw it. What's your question? Wait, what's going on here exactly? What the
And they're happy.
This is did Brian Peck directed this? I think I'm correct about that.
Yes, he's the director, he's the writer.
Oh, he's the writer. Look at him writing and directing a script with little boys in it. Do you see what we're like? This is so wild. We're talking about a PDF file that is writing and directing a project that has little boys of, specific ages in it, getting access.
To Danny Hollister.
Scary. Is that Brian Peck? His true form?
What on earth are you talking about?
There's a monster in the bathroom. I saw it. Hey, Mr. Monster.
Yeah, it was Brian Peck.
Come on,
Didn't he say that Brian Peck was trying to get him into the bathroom? Sorry, but am I wrong here? Let's play it again.
What on earth are you talking about?
There's a monster in the bathroom. I saw it. Hey,
Yeah, it's
Mr.
the
Monster.
director and the writer, Brian Peck. There he is.
No one
Oh,
believed Danny, at least not at first.
what is this?
Monster indeed. What are you staring at?
Okay, first of all, this is the weirdest fucking movie I have ever seen in my entire life. And I haven't even seen it. This is just the trailer. The fact that he wrote a script that centers around little boys, that is a serious red flag. True form. Look at this is Brian Peck. This is 100% true form Brian Peck. All right. Where does this go? Brian Peck is a terrible. Oh, that's the woman who wrote a letter for Brian Peck. She was one of the worst ones. I think hers was handwritten. Handwritten. She wrote a letter. She said Millie what's her name? Not Millie. I forgot what her name is. But she said he must have been tempted beyond, but this horrible, most disgusting, disturbing letter. And that's her. This is wild. After watching the Quiet on Set doc, I'm now noticing a lot of small details in Dan's shows. It's wild how much he got away with. Thanks for putting a light on all of us for all these years. Thank you so much, Techman771. Thank you for being here. A lot of details now, right? This is wild to see. So then, by the way, she ends up working, I'm pretty positive, on Drake and Josh. Which, by the way, interesting. Brian Peck was no longer a part of the set during Drake and Josh, but then she gets hired, so who knew her? Rich Carell? I'm sorry, I'm trying to think who would... it's interesting. Brian Peck wasn't working on Drake and Josh, so how did she get in there? And is it a coincidence? And then she happens to write the letter for Brian Peck?
Nobody
Handwritten
liked
is just
Gordy
screaming, "Pick
Belcher.
me."
Any of you guys want a cookie?
Totally.
No thanks.
Oh, there's Dan Schneider. God. Sorry. That's how much my brain is melting. All of these worlds are merging into one. And now that we know that Dan Schneider, after Jack came forward from Zoe 101 about that story, here we got Dan Schneider and Brian Peck's film, I guess. Okay, so this movie looks like shit. Brian Peck, you're not a good director, horrible person. Can't believe people were bragging about you in letters to defend your actions. It is absolutely wild to me. So I don't know. Was this the end of his story when it comes to Brian Peck, or is there a little bit more?
So we finished the maggot scene.
Jesus.
Then Brian tells me, "Hey man, let me help you undress you, and I can look for maggots or mealworms if they crawled into your outfit or your pajamas, and if they got in there." He's like, "Let me go in there with you while you're taking."
No. I was like, oh, is he done with the Brian Peck? No, of course he's not done with the Brian Peck story. What the fuck? Let me go help you find the maggots in there? Oh my God. Brian Peck, you are so gross, man. Oh my, no, I'm screaming no too. This is insane.
So I can, if anyone got in there, I'll see it, because they're hard to see, and you're wearing like blue and white, and let me go in the bathroom with you while you undress.
What was his excuse? What is he, what did he say that Brian said? Because it's blue and white, let me go, what? I gotta rewind that.
So I can, if anyone got in there, I'll see it. Because they're hard to see, and you're wearing like blue and white, and let me go in the bathroom with you while you undress, and I can check for maggots, from your backside or whatever.
From your backside? Out. You guys, what the fuck is happening? Bro had a whole plan. Yeah, PDF file had a whole plan there. You see how they work too? And then that's why when you read like Rich Carell and that woman who was also in the Willies defending Brian Peck, you see Brian Peck was doing this for years, like his thing, praying and trying to get access to children. We need a system like a wiki to manage and analyze info from chats and live streams, helping to understand network connections. Kind of true, Brett. Kind of true. But you know what I mean? Like, what's really interesting about this is you can see that he so clearly has a pattern. He has a serious pattern. And when everyone in Hollywood was saying this will be his last and da-da-da-da-da, no.
Oh!
Whoa. Wait, I missed him.
No, I can do it.
Wait.
Let me go in the bathroom with you while you undress, and I can check for maggots, from your backside or whatever. I'm like, no, I can do it on my own. I don't care. I'm going into the bathroom.
This is so scary.
I can help you. Trust me. For safety, we have to do this. Mike, somebody has to go in with you and check. I go, ain't nobody going in with me but my father. And he was getting very upset and disjointed because I've had this offer to go into the bathroom with me on multiple occasions.
Wow. Look at this brave person.
End of that story with Brian Peck.
Wow.
I hung out with him later after the fact on the set of Growing Pains as well.
Wow.
Because my friend Leo, that I was actually, at the time, Leonardo DiCaprio, I was in acting classes with Leonardo. And I knew that he was working with Brian on Growing Pains because he got hired for Growing Pains. And I knew that Brian was working on the set. So I figured, hey, I'll go hang out with Leo and Brian on the set of Growing Pains. So I kind of witnessed a little bit of that type of stuff. But
wow. Well, do you know what?
That's the Brian Peck story.
That is so deeply disturbing because if you think about, this is why this is so wild, because obviously the Me Too movement, right? We learned, there's obviously extreme like predatory behavior, being covered up, happening in Hollywood. But the children, for some reason, it just went right. And the music industry was one. It seemed like it really focused on Harvey Weinstein, specifically more so film and television, but not the children, right? And now we're learning that this was happening, that there were predators around children on set, filming them even, creating content, putting them in, exploiting them. I can't even say the words here on YouTube, right? And I heard that Demi Lovato, I saw someone like tweet at me that Demi Lovato is doing a documentary about being a child star. I'm really, and we got Allison Stoner too, who has an incredible podcast called Dear Hollywood, you know, really inspiring individual. It seems like all of us are kind of, it's beginning. I think there is a wave beginning where maybe some legislation will be put into place, but we really got to keep our eyes on these institutions, not only when it comes to children, when it comes to adults, and when it comes to the entire entertainment industry. They are covering up. They have been doing it for a long time, and they have been protecting predatory behavior. And I say this all the time in a lot of interviews, to be quite honest with you, is that's because it's predatory at the top. They like to go, oh, it's just like the bad apples down here. No, it goes all the way to the top. Who do you think is protecting them and why? It's not just about the money. There's also there's predators above too. And again, predator doesn't mean just SA. A predator just means anyone that exploits another person's weaknesses. Like what we see as strengths, a predator will see as a weakness, and they'll prey on it, and they will exploit it. They will devour it. And so we have to be on the lookout for this type of behavior because it's everywhere. It's everywhere, outside of Hollywood too. Schools. I mean, we're talking about any institution, right? We got to be on the lookout for predatory behavior and start being better bystanders too. So I think that's like where I'm at for today. I mean, there's a couple things I wanted to cover, but I think I'll cover it on Tuesday. So I saw this TikTok that's been going viral about Amanda Bynes' website. And I think I know who made that website. Not positive, but again, when you see something that looks like, you know, it feels like, you know, if I ever saw another Brian Peck movie, I would know it was him because of, you know, how shitty it was and a specific type of style. It's the same. And so I want to go a little bit into that Amanda Bynes website and how bizarre that website is and try to figure out who designed it, which I don't know for sure, but we'll go into it. Also, please put into our Reddit thread if you have any hints about the person that Michael BOWER is talking about. And this is a public safety issue. I just want to know, you know, like, let's know who this person is. So if you have any hints or anything whatsoever, please put it into the Reddit, and anything else that obviously I should be on the lookout for. But I feel like on Tuesday, what we'll do is we'll watch that TikTok video. We'll go through the websites that Nickelodeon was creating, because boy, does that go deep. Those websites, those sub websites. We'll talk about that, and we'll watch the Neds Declassified podcast episode together. And I think that's it. I think that's all my brain can even handle. Oh, we'll watch maybe a little bit of the CNN clip if you guys want to watch it or something like that. And then next Friday, we can watch this Open Secret. I'm very curious if this guy, Matthew, I wonder if it was Amy. I wonder if it was. But you all are the best. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. And again, literally, I've dedicated my whole life to this. And so, you know, thank you for helping make this sustainable in any way, shape, or form. This is 100% community built and would not be able to do it without any of you. And so let's change the world together. Let's change the world together and have a beautiful weekend, some self-care. This was a really intense week. I know I have to remind myself of that. And I will see you all on Tuesday unless something wild happens on Monday.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, is there like
no? There's not.
Sure not gonna go live this weekend, even if something pops up.
Well, maybe if something really, if something happens, of course I'll come in here and be here to support and go through all of it with the community 100%. Obviously.
All right, so possible,
but let's just say like tentative. It's for Tuesday.
Possible emergency stream during the weekend.
Possible emergency stream if something happens. But Tuesday is the usual stream. So the show. So see you either this weekend or on Tuesday. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for wanting to change the world. And I will see you soon. See you soon.
Oops.
a Prime Peck son.